You probably think traveling across Europe costs thousands. Honestly, I used to think the same. Every time I saw people posting from places like Paris or Rome, I figured they had to be rich or saved for years. But here's the truth. I traveled through 6 countries in Europe and spent less than $500 for the entire trip. No, I didn't sleep on benches or survive on crackers. I ate real food, saw iconic places, met incredible people, and actually enjoyed the trip. It just took planning, flexibility, and being okay with skipping the touristy stuff. I tracked every dollar, so in this video, I'm going to break it all down step by step, from transportation to meals to where I slept. Let's count down the 10 biggest things I did to make it happen. These tips aren't just about saving money, they're about making your trip fun and meaningful without emptying your wallet. 10. I only brought a backpack. This might not seem like a big deal, but it saved me a lot of money and hassle. Most budget airlines in Europe charge extra for carry-ons or checked bags. I fit everything into one personal item-sized backpack. That meant no extra luggage fees, faster airport check-ins, and less weight on my back. I packed 2 pairs of pants, 4 shirts, a light jacket, a pair of shoes, and some basic toiletries. Everything I brought was multi-purpose and quick-dry. It also helped me move fast. I didn't have to drag a suitcase through cobblestone streets or worry about storing stuff on trains. This simple choice saved me over $60 on bag fees. 9. I slept in hostels and couch-surfed accommodation. Usually eats up most of a travel budget. I knew hotels were out of the question. So I booked hostels, which averaged about $12 to $18 per night, depending on the city. Hostelworld and Booking.com were my go-to apps, but I also used Couchsurfing, which is totally free. It's a platform where locals let travelers crash at their place. One host in Slovakia let me stay for 3 nights, and we even cooked dinner together. Another in Austria gave me a free walking tour of his neighborhood. Couchsurfing not only saved me money, but also connected me with people I'd never meet otherwise. Of course, I made sure the hosts had solid reviews and verified profiles. Safety first. 8. I took buses instead of trains or flights. Everyone talks about the European rail system, and yeah, it's amazing. But it's also expensive, especially if you don't book in advance. Instead, I traveled mostly by bus. Flixbus became my best friend. They offer tickets as low as $5 to $10 between cities. I went from Berlin to Prague for $9, Vienna to Budapest was $8. Some of the rides were long, 7 hours or more, but the buses had Wi-Fi, charging ports, and were way more comfortable than I expected. Plus, overnight buses helped me save on accommodation for the night. 7. I ate like a local, not a tourist. Eating out can kill your budget fast. I didn't touch restaurants in the tourist zones. Instead, I went to local bakeries, street vendors, or grocery stores. In Poland, I had pierogies from a small food stall for $3. In Hungary, I got goulash soup and bread at a local market for under $4. I often bought bread, cheese, fruit, and yogurt from grocery stores and turned that into breakfast or lunch. Some hostels also offered free breakfast, so I took advantage of that too. I still got to try authentic food, just not at overpriced places with English menus and souvenir mugs. 6. I used free walking tours for sightseeing. Europe is packed with things to see, but many of them are free or nearly free. I joined free walking tours in almost every city I visited. These tours are run by locals who share the history, culture, and funny stories about the city. At the end, you tip what you can. Most people give $5 to $10. It's a great way to learn about a place without spending on guides or entrance tickets. I skipped museums with high entry fees unless they had student discounts or free days. Honestly, walking around old towns, parks, and along rivers gave me a better feel for each place than any ticketed attraction. 5. I used Wi-Fi instead of buying SIM cards. I didn't buy a SIM card or international data plan. That saved me around $30 to $40. Instead, I downloaded offline maps on Google Maps before entering a new city. I also saved directions, hostel info, and bus schedules ahead of time. Almost every hostel, cafe, and bus station had free Wi-Fi. When I really needed to check something on the go, I'd pop into a cafe and grab a cheap coffee while using the internet. Planning ahead kept me from getting lost, and I didn't miss being connected 24/7. 4. I traveled off-season. This is a game changer. I went in late March and early April, when flights and accommodations are much cheaper. Places weren't packed with tourists, so I didn't have to wait in long lines or fight for photos. It was still chilly in some countries, but I layered up and saved a fortune. Flights were almost half the price of what they cost in the summer. Hostels had more availability, and locals were more relaxed too. Everything just felt easier and more affordable. 3. I used reward points to book my flight. My biggest single expense was the flight to Europe, but I didn't pay cash for it. I used travel reward points from a credit card I'd been using for everyday purchases back home. After months of paying for groceries, gas, and bills with the card, I racked up enough points for a one-way flight to Berlin. I still had to pay about $50 in taxes and fees, but compared to the full price, that was a steal. On the way back, I found a budget airline ticket from Milan for $45. Booking in advance and being flexible with dates made all the difference. 2. I said no to unnecessary souvenirs and splurges. It's tempting to grab souvenirs in every city, but they add up fast. I decided to skip them completely. Instead, I took tons of photos, kept a small travel journal, and collected things like bus tickets or postcards. Not spending on souvenirs saved me around $50 easily. I also avoided buying coffee or snacks every time I saw something interesting. I stuck to 1 or 2 treats per day, like gelato in Italy or a pastry in Vienna. And the rest of the time, I drank water from fountains or refilled bottles. These small choices made a big difference over a few weeks. 1. I planned just enough but stayed flexible. The biggest reason I stayed under budget was because I didn't overplan. I had a rough route in mind, starting in Germany and ending in Italy, but I didn't book everything months ahead. I used apps like Rome to Rio and Hostel World while on the move to find the cheapest ways to get to the next city or where to sleep that night. If one place was getting expensive, I just changed direction. That kind of flexibility let me take advantage of last-minute deals. I never felt stuck, and I always found a way to keep costs low. The key was balancing just enough planning to stay safe and organized without locking myself into overpriced decisions. So how did it all break down? Flight in, $50, reward points paid the rest. Flight out, $45. Transportation between countries, $70. Hostels and couch surfing, $130. Food, $100. Tours and activities, $40. Other expenses, like toiletries, laundry, and the occasional treat, $65, total $500. It wasn't always glamorous. I didn't eat at fancy restaurants or stay in 5-star hotels. But I saw sunrises in Prague, walked through castles in Austria, soaked up art in Italy, and shared stories with strangers who became friends. That's what travel is really about. Experiences, not expensive things. If this inspired you or helped you see that budget travel is possible, give this video a like. Share it with someone who's been dreaming of Europe but thinks it's out of reach. And hit that subscribe button for more travel tips and personal stories like this. Thanks for watching, and I hope you're already thinking about your next adventure.